Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Gilmore Girls, Season 1, Episode 20. I hate the title of this one. P.S. I love... Whatever.
Sure.
This is a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot happens in this one. Rory is not doing good.
No, she is not. She is unwell.
She is super unwell.
Mm-hmm.
They start out the episode, she's really tired, and so they decide to play 1, 2, 3, He's Yours, where you look out the window of the place that you're at and decide who your next, man is going to be. And you can skip the first one, assuming that you'll find someone better the second time, but if you skip the second one, you have to go with the third one. And Lorelai gets a really old man, and she says, no, I'm not Anna Nicole Smith. And then she gets a really young guy and says, no, I'm not Mary Kay Torno. And then the third one is Kirk, which I find hysterical. Especially
technically the third one.
It was
Luke.
It was Luke.
Yeah.
And so I do love that then Luke is like, congratulations, Kirk. And he's like so confused. And Lorelai and Rory are just laughing at him, and they don't really have any shame about it or anything either. And he just ends up running away.
Do I have the kick me sign on the back of me again? It wasn't funny last week. It's not funny now.
I have asthma.
That was great.
And so then Rory goes to play, and it's Dean.
Yeah.
Dean's the first one. So she's in a mood the entire episode. And she gets in a fight with, she's kind of crabby with Lorelai anyway, but then she gets in a fight with Lane because Lane didn't tell her that she's studying with Dean, because they have a biology project to do together. Maybe we shouldn't finish. This is, I'm blah, 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 blah,
we've been going since 1 o'clock today. Right?
It was after, I think it was after 2, yeah. Either way, I love that scene with Mrs. Kim, too.
Yeah.
Mrs. Kim and Dean. And when he's like, no, I'm sure once she gets to know me, and Lane is like, no, she's gonna hate you forever. Yeah. But it's not personal. Yeah. And then Lorelai, just to get all the more funny stuff out of the way, Lorelai sees Luke coming out of Le Chat Club, which is apparently a cat-themed gift shop in town.
It looks so cute.
I'm sure it was cute.
I would like those pot, I'm about to call them pot stickers.
Pot holders.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right? Pot holders.
Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. That hangs together.
Oh boy. I would like them. They're really kitschy and cute and dumb.
Yeah, you are a cat person who likes things and can't live out of one Weekender bag.
Yeah.
Rachel doesn't want those pot holders.
I know.
So Lorelai is literally, what the hell? Because it's Rachel's birthday coming up. And so she's like, how about you go to the mall? And he goes off on a huge rant about capitalism and urban sprawl and all kinds of stuff. I love that kind of at his heart, Luke is a socialist.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite thing about him. So Lorelai's like, why don't you give me your credit card? I'll go to the mall. I'll pick out a bunch of stuff that's refundable, returnable, and you pick out what you think she'd like best, and I'll return all the rest. And so she goes nuts.
She really does.
She gets 2 things for Rachel, the book copy of Out of Africa and a new photography bag, which is beautiful. And I'm just sort of give her both. Put the book in...
Well, that's how she sold it. She was like, she can put her new book in her new camera bag.
Exactly. And so then every other bag is full of clothes that she found for Luke that were on crazy sale.
Well, she girl mathed the shit out of everything.
Oh, well, I believe her on the 40% off.
Oh, yeah.
But then she's, by the end of it, 100,000% off.
Well, it's because you get more off when you buy more. So really, you're making money.
You are making
the more that you buy.
So according to your math, you made $350 today.
Right.
You bought over $1,000 worth of clothes. For free.
Right.
I saw someone, it was a stitch, so somebody was talking stupid shit about the girl math and talking about how it was sexist.
What?
And I was like, it's not, we're not calling ourselves stupid. It is a hilarious way to justify purchases. It's not a real economic strategy.
No, was it a man that did this?
No, a man was actually the one that stitched it and was like, you're fundamentally misunderstanding girl math.
Oh, was it a woman?
Uh-huh.
I'm sick of some of you.
Yeah.
Stop!
Yeah.
Let it stop.
Like, this is offensive. And I was like, only girls are doing girl math.
Right.
Like, it's just...
Sorry that you're a fucking wet blanket. I'm
Yeah.
sick of you. I'm
No.
sick of you.
It's the type of things where it's like, I can... Basically, because I saw a thing literally today that was like, my favorite type of girl math is the fact that, like, if I plan a vacation far enough in advance, that vacation just becomes free.
Yeah.
By the time I take it, because I paid for it so long ago.
Yes.
So I can justify buying a whole new vacation wardrobe.
Yes.
Before I go.
Exactly. It's an investment.
Yeah.
I am it's an investment thing until I die.
Yeah.
Because most of the things that I buy that are like out of the ass expensive, I do keep them forever and I wear them until they are threadbare.
Yeah.
I have slept in shoes one time because I was like,
get another wear out of it.
Yeah, I'm like, it's fine. They're comfortable. It's okay.
I just also like, so the first girl math thing I saw that was on that one TikTok, that Australian radio show, was the one about getting the hair extensions for her wedding. And I was like, girl, that's your wedding. You don't even need a girl math out of that. Just do it because it's your wedding.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
You hope that you do that once, then it's like, well, I just did it the one time, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. So anyway, she gets Luke some shirts and some pants and a belt and a suit too. It looks like there's 2 suits in there. Yeah. So just like a ton of stuff. And she was like, it was all marked down and like, but it was all really great. And, you know, so I think you should try it on. And he is resistant, but then he looks pretty good in it.
Yeah.
And he ends up like, there are times when he ends up putting on some of it.
I don't doubt it.
Like on his own.
Oh, I'm sure
he
was pleased as punch on the inside.
Unfortunately, Rachel comes back.
Oh no, a prison of my own making.
Well,
she had the absolute audacity to look put out about the situation, and I was just like, "Oh, so you're mad because the girl that you put in the middle of your relationship is still trying to be in the middle of your relationship?
Yeah.
Trash."
Yeah. I mean, in total, well, okay, they're not up in his apartment. They're fully in public.
Right.
In the middle of the diner.
So it's fine.
But she is helping him with his belt.
There was a tag.
No, she said you missed a loop. So she was like undoing the belt to fix it.
Well, but then he was like, I know how to put on a belt.
That was when he put it on the first time. And then when Rachel walked in, she was like, oh, you missed a loop. She was helping him take off his belt.
It's not like she was cupping his balls.
No, I'm aware.
You know, she's not Joey's Taylor.
She's not Joey's Taylor.
So...
I get it. I'm on your team. Rachel has a lot of nerve.
She put her right here in the middle of the relationship when she was like, can you please make my boyfriend believe that I want to stay? I hate her.
Don't put that down too hard. I'll tell Will that you did it.
It's fine. She's been laying here for
She has been laying there for weeks.
It's fine.
That's basically it. Like, Rachel doesn't really do anything.
No, she just makes a face.
She just makes a face. But then Lorelai leaves. And so, Rory so after she has the big fight with Lane, she goes to school and she, is distracted in class. And so Max is trying to get her attention and he can't. And then Paris knocks her book down. She wasn't really like this was not Paris, like in rare form, but she was being kind of snotty again, obviously. And so Max asked her to stay after class and he lets slip that he knows about her breakup. And she immediately is like, how the fuck do you know about that? And it's because he and Lorelai have been talking again. They have just in this episode decided that they're going to go out on a real date this coming weekend because they've been talking for 3 or 4 weeks. But Rory is incensed because she's like, why wouldn't she tell me about this? Ridiculous.
See, and I think that this is a perfectly appropriate response for Lorelai.
I agree.
Because they're just talking.
Yeah.
So who's to say what they decide? So rather than being like, hey guys, we're like talking again.
Exactly.
And I think that she was right to keep that close to the chest.
Yeah. So, but I understand why Rory's angry because she's like, just like she's already at that boiling point. She's like ready to be angry about everything.
I mean, she's just going to be mad about no matter what you tell her.
Yeah.
So nobody was winning in her eyes.
Basically, she gets off the bus at the end of school and Lane is waiting there with 2 coffees. And they get into a fight. This is when they get into their actual fight. Because Rory just leaves when she catches them studying. So they get into their actual fight. I don't even remember the actual, like, words it's about. But she's just like...
It's because Lane was protecting her.
She was like, you get crazy looking when Dean comes up in conversation. I have to shop for you in the market. Like,
you had to figure out the day that he's not there so you can walk in the market.
Exactly.
Like, girl.
Yeah.
You're not doing
not doing amazing.
No.
So she's doing the whole thing, and basically they get into like sort of a shouting match, and Rory just straight up throws the full coffee in the garbage. Well, that's one of my pet peeves about this show. The coffees are never full. The like to-go cups are never full of coffee. They're always empty. It's really annoying. You can tell. Yeah. It's really annoying. But then Lorelai sort of comes up behind her and is like, what's going on? And she will not engage. And Lorelai is like, hey, let's talk. And she's like, cool, I know what we should talk about, how you're seeing Mr. Medina and you didn't tell me. And so they just like really get into it. And she's like, I'll meet you at home. And instead, Rory takes a cab to Hartford to go see Richard and Emily and doesn't tell her. So I love all of the scenes with Richard and Emily, because especially Richard, because they're supposed to be going to like the opera or something.
No, it's
some sort of gala.
The horticulture charity.
Sure.
Yeah, because she's head of the horticulture club or something.
Yeah. Anyway, so he really doesn't want to go, and Emily is like, these are your dear friends, and he's like, I don't care for them at all. I don't know what you're talking about. And so when Rory shows up, he just is like, thank God, we don't have to leave now. It's very funny. And especially when she's like, I'd just rather go to bed, and she's like leaving, and Emily is like, say something encouraging, and he goes, I'm very sorry you're upset, but I applaud your timing. It's just my favorite. They're the two of them together, Richard and Rory. I've said it before, but like their relationship is really sweet to me.
Yeah.
Basically, back in Stars Hollow, Lorelai is freaking out because she can't find her. She gets into this hilarious circular conversation with Mrs. Kim because she doesn't know where Lane is. Mrs. Kim doesn't know where Lane is, and she's like, the first time ever that I need you to be crazy and you're not crazy. And she's like, well, I'm looking, if she comes home, I'm looking for Rory. Can you ask her if she knows where she is? And then apparently Mrs. Kim gives her heat about not knowing where Rory is, and she's like, are you kidding? So Suki's helping to look, and Max is there and suggests Dean, and so Suki goes to leave to go talk to Dean. There's no way she goes to Dean. And this is where I get annoyed with Max, because he's like, how come you haven't told anybody?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, now is not the time.
Yeah, now's not the time.
She is, because it's right after Emily calls and is like, she's fine and she's here. So she's calmed down a little bit. She knows where she is.
Well, calm down a little bit, but Emily was taunting her.
Woof.
And it's just like, you didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
You
definitely not. And then
every
the whole
time I try to give Emily a little something, a little credit, she just really has to make me eat my words
because she's just like, I wanted to let you know that Rory is here. You had a fight and she came here. She came to me. And it's like, she's very upset. She doesn't want to talk on the phone right now, even though Lorelai is like, put her on the phone. She's like, I don't think so. And she's like, well, I'll pick her up in the morning. Well, she has school in the morning. Okay, well, I'll pick her up in the afternoon. Why don't you just call first? And I'm like, why don't you go fuck yourself?
Yeah.
Like, she's not your kid. So anyway, yeah, the whole Max conversation, it's a no for me.
Because they're not back together. They're talking.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm just like, it's not really about that.
It would be one thing if it was new.
Also, why aren't you keeping it quiet? That's literally what you got in trouble with before.
I'm sick of them.
Yeah. So
either date or don't fucking date.
Yeah.
I'm done. I like them together because I think they're an attractive couple and they're like very even keel. But this whole like, are we, aren't we? How will we? I don't know. Figure it out. Solution. Whatever. Just date or don't date.
Yeah. Also, Suki obviously knows. She was right there. Why would Max even be at the house if something wasn't going on?
Right. Being precious.
Yeah. The next morning, Emily offers for the cook to make her a Pop-Tart. To make Rory a Pop-Tart. And she's like, no, I'll have eggs. And then she gets a roasted lamb sandwich for lunch.
With strudel.
With a slice of strudel, which sounds just amazing to me. Basically, then Lorelai comes over after school to go talk to Rory. And Emily still tries to like keep her up. She's like, I haven't prepared her for this. And I'm like, it's fine. So she goes up and they talk, and it's after Lorelai has confronted Dean.
Oh yeah.
In the market. And she basically is like, she just walks up to him and she's like, I think you're scum. And he's like, cool, why? Like, what the hell? And again, he kind of like, it's fine, I guess, but I don't like the way that he's like, I say I love you and she doesn't say anything back and I'm the bad guy. And I'm like, that is Cliff's Notes. That's the Cliff's Notes version of what happened.
And I was I was really watching Lorelai's reaction because she did kind of soften.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh no. And I'm like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Because there are so many other things. Because
Yeah.
she still got dumped.
She did still get dumped.
So then you know that they had the conversation in the car where, you know, if you don't love me, why are we together?
Yeah.
If you don't love me, I don't want to be with you.
And I just, what I do like is the direction that Lorelai takes with her her conversation with Rory, where she's like, I love that you are so many things that I am. Like, I love that we have so many things in common, you know, like physically and emotionally, but I don't want my relationship hangups to be something that we have in common. And like, and she's like, it doesn't even have to be about like Dean or whatever, but I don't want you to be the type of person who is scared to say I love you. Which is, I prefer that as opposed to like her weirdly taking Dean's side somehow.
100%.
You know? Because in a maybe lesser well-written show, that would be like,
well, why don't you love him?
He's the perfect boyfriend. How come you don't love him and all this stuff?
If it were me, I would say I love you right back.
Yeah.
No, I love that she took responsibility for like, you know, that might be my bad.
Yeah.
So, you know, we need to be able to do that. Both you and me.
And her whole like hypothetical story about you fell in love with Taylor Hanson backstage at a show was so funny and of the time. He's the best one though.
Oh, Zach.
The baby?
The drummer, yeah. He was age appropriate when I was the correct age.
Taylor is only like a couple years older than us.
I know. Zach was again right around like, why are you making this weird?
He looked like a baby.
But Taylor looked too like he looked like a yassified goblin.
You look like a yassified goblin.
Like he just didn't. The older brother, he was the full goblin.
Isaac is a full goblin.
Yes. Taylor for me.
Although actually they've all evened out in adulthood.
Oh yes, they have. But no, Zach was like, yes, he was the younger one, but he for me was the cutest.
That is a baby child.
I was a baby when they were popular.
Okay, what about now? He actually kind of looks like Chad Kroeger from Nickelback now.
Which one's this one?
Taylor.
Oh, he grew into his yassified goblin. It's the facial hair helps him.
Which?
No, Taylor.
Oh, okay.
No, Isaac is still a goblin.
I said he looked kind of like Chad Kroeger from Nickelback. What more do you want?
But no, Zach is still hot. But no, now Taylor in this picture he looks like Orlando Bloom.
I see it a little, the face
from
shape.
Like OG Pirates of the Caribbean Orlando Bloom.
Pardon. OG Orlando Bloom is Legolas. That came out first.
I was more so saying OG Pirates of the Caribbean, not OG Orlando Bloom.
Okay, gotcha. So, sorry for that tangent about which is the hottest Hanson brother. Very equally old-fashioned to my last week's when you plug the cable straight into the wall and get channels.
Listen, we were youths during this time when it was on.
Indeed.
I was thinking about this, like, it might have been today, might have been yesterday, or I might just constantly be thinking about this. So the sweet spot for me for, like, feeling nostalgic is 1998 to, like, 2001.
Okay.
But I also feel kind of like, I don't really want to say 2001 because of 9/11, because then shit got really fucking weird for a while.
Okay,
it was like, we're all going to die from terrorists or whatever.
Okay, because for me it starts in like 1997, and then let's just say it goes until August, till your birthday. We're nostalgic until your birthday in 2001.
Yeah, yes. So it like...
And then afterwards, the world got weird.
It did, it got weird. Because I don't... You know, and people always talk about like, oh, things were so much easier and stuff that, but like, I do kind of look at the 90s, but it's just because I was young and I didn't
have responsibilities.
Yes, and I didn't have the rose-colored glasses ripped from my face, broke into shards, and shoved back in my eyeballs in really violent ways.
Yeah.
So, but like 1998, 1999.
No, I know exactly what you mean, and there actually have been like think pieces, and I feel like at least one video essay about how 1999 is the best year that has ever happened for movies.
Yeah.
It's like the best movie year that we've ever had.
And I feel like 98 was the best music year.
Could be.
I wonder what the astrology was during those 2 years. Venus was somewhere really good,
Probably.
exalted somewhere.
Yeah.
Fifth house blowing up.
Interesting.
Because the fifth house is for film and movies and
Oh.
art and creativity and all that stuff.
Cool. So yeah, that is basically all that happens in this episode. Rory and Lorelai obviously make up. They're like fine by the end. She's like, I'm really sorry. I've just been having a really hard time and I don't really know what to do about it. And they have that conversation about love. And Luke is wearing his new belt at the end because his old one broke. And Lorelai was like, well, good thing you had a spare, isn't it? It's nice.
She goes home and she calls up Max and is like, I'm going to call everyone in my phone book and then I'm going to tell everyone in town. And so she's just like, and she says, we're back together.
Yeah.
So.
Going a little overboard, but it's a Lorelai special.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think that she's kind of giving it back to him. Being like, oh, so you want me to tell people? Cool. Yeah. So I have this giant book that I'm going to call everyone.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Richie Andrew is.
She's like maybe a third cousin.
Yeah, or he like caulked my bathroom
or
something. So it's just like, if you want me to tell people, fine, I'll tell everyone. Hope you're ready for it.
Yeah.
Babe.
All right. Well, that is it for this episode. We are going to go watch
the last one.
We're going to go watch the finale, call it a day, and then we're going to start Dawson's Creek. Woo! So, yeah. Let us know what you think. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.